Welcome back to K-Ratio's Week in Preview. I'm Kyle Littner and I'm here today to provide actionable insight for the future, not recap the past. In this week's episode, we'll cover something we hinted at last week, and ultimately this has come true. The sleeping giant in the national supply chain has woken up, and it will immediately begin to alter freight patterns across the country. Now first, a little background context on the LA market before we get into it. And I do apologize, please stay with me, but there will be a lot of charts. The LA market, combined with neighboring Ontario, is the largest outbound freight market in the United States, accounting for 7% of all loads nationally over the past year. Let that sink in for a minute. 7% of all national loads. In the past, that number has been greater than 8%, but now sits below 6% at 5.7%. Why the drop-off? Well, obviously being the second largest metropolitan area in the United States at 10 million people brings a lot of freight, but the true driver of that local freight economy is the amount of imported goods coming into the ports of LA and Long Beach. From the import tariff pull forward to the full-blown trade war, LA import volumes have seen both extremes in a very short period of time. And that gets us to where we are now, and that's a very interesting point. Every single year, Chinese New Year brings the volumes to West Coast ports down to a slow drip, but COVID-19 has shut that faucet off entirely. The resulting impact was plummeting outbound LA rates, like LA to Dallas in green, while inbound rates, like Dallas to LA in white, rallied. In an almost rolling wave, capacity out west loosened significantly and brought rates in the region overall down with it. So that brings us back to today, where those conditions have now changed. National volumes have eroded to the lowest non-holiday number for 2020, as shelter-in-place orders and a disappearing U.S. economy have eliminated almost all non-essential goods purchased. This lack of demand is what makes this new developing situation so noteworthy and interesting to watch. With loads disappearing everywhere, any volume pickup in any market is going to cause capacity throughout the nation to react, as loads are becoming increasingly hard to find. A volume pickup in the nation's largest market, a market coming out of a severe depression in loads, however, is going to make everything change, and change fast. Production and exports in China are still not at pre-infection levels, but they are getting close, and as such, import volumes at the ports of LA and Long Beach are returning to normal levels. That's great news for freight in Southern California. Now, the only issue with this pickup in volume is the fact that the area simply isn't ready for it. Capacity that left the region during the volume freefall has not yet returned, and this primes the pump for a large jump in rejections, spot market loads, and subsequently rates. This chart from FreightWave's Sonar platform displays their head haul index, which measures the difference between outbound and inbound freight. Two important points here. Markets in general have a certain flow to them, a level of homeostasis. When that balance is upset, a repricing in the equilibrium of supply and demand occurs, and what you see here is that there's a lot less trucks in the area than usual, and at a time when they will be needed most. That means for this week, the LA market will be heavy on loads but short on trucks, so rates are going to increase. And markets in the surrounding region will have to increase their rates as well or risk losing capacity to the LA market, so shippers, brokers, and carriers act accordingly. Again, a big thank you to all that continue to submit questions to our open and ongoing Q&A. If you keep sending them, we promise to keep answering them. So please leave yours in the comments below. Send them to info@k-ratio.com, or you can message me directly. And for more information on protecting your margins, our award-winning freight intelligence platform, or dynamic pricing even in this extreme environment, check us out at k-ratio.com. Please stay safe, and thank you again for watching.